All of a sudden feels very quiet and eerie around here. There's something really strange going on in these mountains.
It was howling a while ago. It started up again. Sounds like there's some coyotes, but there's something else.
Silver Wolves is a channel built around one thing: exploration. Dense forests, forgotten roads, crumbling mines, places most people would never think to go. It's the kind of content that pulls you in, especially if you're drawn to abandoned or historical locations. In this particular video, he plans an overnight trip deep inside Uhari National Forest, setting up a base camp and pushing further into the wilderness from there.
Hey, what's going on, ladies, gents, YouTube? I am on my way to the Burkhead Mountain Wilderness area, Uhari National Forest. I'm going to be going on an overnight exploration. I'm going to set up base camp and then explore out from there. I'm going to be going off trail. Not sure how brushy it is and how much briars and so forth. That's going to slow me down, but it's going to be a challenge. I'm using Onyx Backcountry. I created my own waypoints. There's going to be an old road, ghost road, hopefully I can find. I'm going to call it Old Gray Owl Road. Why? Because it connects to a road outside the forest that is called Gray Owl Road. But I want this video to be more of a how-to guide for people that want to go camping, go exploring for abandoned locations.
Once he arrived, he hit the trail and began making his way toward the spot he'd already scouted on the map.
All right. So we are following an unmarked trail along the Talbot Creek. You know what? I was thinking of following that trail a little bit further down the creek here, but I think I'm just going to jump. I'm just going to jump out into the woods. It looks kind of clear. Doesn't look too bad. There's a summit. I'm going to jump back in and start giving you my plan of action once I get to the summit. But I always do this with every video, and I like to mention it, is I always like to feel the area before I really start recording. So, be right.
Eventually, he found a clearing that felt right. He pitched his tent, got settled, and noticed something on the map, a cluster of abandoned houses not too far from camp. So he packed up and headed out to find them. That's when the forest started pushing back.
The stone and that stone right there. Oh shoot. You know what? I'm just flabbing on and I'm forgetting where I'm at. No, I know where I'm at. I'm just joking. I'm in the middle of nowhere. That's where I'm at. I'm gonna head back to camp. Coyotes are out. I'm getting a little turned around. It's kind of weird. My GPS was acting kind of funny. I'm not trying to sound spooky or anything like that, but it felt like I was walking, like it was starting to go around in circles before I was getting near the home, the abandoned home. So before I get too turned around, before the coyotes, I just want to get settled in.
That first attempt ended before it really began. Something in the trees, what sounded like coyotes, put him on edge. His GPS was behaving strangely. He felt like he was moving in circles without meaning to. Rather than press on and risk getting lost in the dark, he made the call to turn around, head back to camp, and wait for morning. The night passed quietly. No sounds, no disturbances, just the woods settling into silence around him. At first light, he set out again toward the abandoned house. This time, nothing stood in his way. But the moment he arrived, something about the place didn't sit right.
And this is what it's all about. Ooh, I could have done this on a day trip probably, but this is the oldie. Alright, I'm seeing spider webs here. Let me get my stick ready. Approaching slowly. Oh yeah, I'm glad I didn't get here last night. I would have been creeped out. Sure, no snakies. I'm sure there's snakes in there, man. Holy mo! I gotta go in. I gotta take this backpack off. I mean, just look at the way this is so classic. Look at the way these chairs are just lined on top of each other. It smells like pee a little bit. Yeah, that's definitely pee. It almost smells like human pee. Oh. I got some hunting pictures. I don't know what's in the box, man. Should I look? All right, let's just focus on something else. Sports Illustrated. I'm sure this became, in probably better condition, a hunting station for the locals. Robert, you should have used the Canon. Alright. Oh, no, it's just a cubby hole. Alright.
He moved through the structure slowly, taking in the details. Then he found a staircase, old, worn. He decided to go up. He never made it far.
Crazy son of a gun living up here. I've seen too many of those videos. Oh. What the f? Oh, alright, there's an animal in there. Oh. What the hell? Whew. Oh man, my heart's pounding right now. I don't know what, I don't want to get bit. Out here, nope. Shoot. Alright, we got downstairs covered. Whew. Man. Son of a gun. Did we look in there? Yeah, we looked in there. Alright, let me get my... Oh man, my heart's pounding right now. Ooh, I'm shaking. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's a squirrel. It sounded too heavier than a squirrel.
It's hard to say what lurked behind that door. Could have been an animal that had claimed the space as shelter. Could have been something else entirely. Someone hiding, not wanting to be found. Either way, this moment is a sharp reminder of what exploring abandoned places actually means. You are walking into the unknown. Every room, every floor, every darkened corner could be hiding something. Making your presence known before entering isn't just courtesy, it's self-preservation. There are documented cases of homeless individuals being startled in abandoned buildings and reacting out of fear, and that kind of encounter can go wrong fast. Josh runs a YouTube channel dedicated to exploring the kinds of places most people never see. Abandoned buildings, remote forests, forgotten structures hidden deep in the wilderness. His videos are well produced and genuine, and he clearly puts serious time and effort into every trip he takes. In this one, he heads into the mountains on a mission to find the wreckage of a plane that went down in 1986.
So I'm currently hiking in this really remote mountain range, and I'm searching for a massive plane wreckage that's found here. I think it's a really huge plane, like a big Boeing plane. It's somewhere up in this remote mountain, so I'm just taking the steep hike to go check it out. I think it'll be off trail a bit, but I reckon we can find it.
It took me hours of hiking until I summited my first mountain, and I could make my way deeper into the mountain range. I hadn't seen anyone or any trace of people during that time, but all that was about to change as I suddenly spotted a large structure on another mountain just in front of me. Curious as to what it was, I made a detour and hiked up to it.
He did some research later and identified the structure. It turned out to be a fort built in 1659 by France to guard the border with Spain. At one point, it even served as a maximum security prison, but that wasn't what unsettled him. He kept moving through the mountains, still no sign of anyone, when something off the trail caught his eye, the ruins of an old building. He went to take a closer look, and that's when things took a much darker turn.
Someone definitely lives here. There's canned food. Someone definitely lives here. Maybe not all the time, but often enough, which is crazy because this is really in ruins and in the middle of nowhere. Very creepy. Here's the bedding. Okay, this is really creepy. This is really creepy. There is photos of the same person up on the wall. Like this is a stalker's house or something. This is creepy. Oh, there's so many photos on the floor everywhere. This place is littered with the same photos of the same people. Look at all these photos. These are all photos of people. All photos of people on the floor. Tons of them. On the bed. I'm gonna get out of here. This is really creepy. I don't know why there's so many photos.
That's a deeply unsettling find. Photos of the same people scattered across the floor of a ruined building in the middle of nowhere, with canned food and a bed, signs that someone had been coming back regularly. It has all the markings of something far more sinister than just a hermit passing through.
That is one of the creepiest things I've ever found while hiking. Someone is living in there, and I think someone is stalking people.
As I headed out of the building, I also found a smaller structure just by it, and inside there was a bed along with what appeared to be rope.
After leaving that house, I feel like I'm being watched. All of a sudden feels very quiet and eerie around here. There's something really strange going on in these mountains.
A bed and rope. That detail is hard to shake. It feeds directly into the theory that whoever was living there wasn't just watching people from those photos, but may have been bringing them to that second structure, holding them there. Josh clearly sensed that something deeply wrong had taken place in those mountains, and he didn't linger. He pushed on and eventually found the plane wreck he'd come looking for.
Serious video. To give an update also on the location, now I am back in civilization. I have contacted the authorities. This was filmed a few months ago actually, so I contacted them. I sent them the location and photos of the area. I haven't heard anything back from them, so I'm not sure if there's been an investigation, but I've heard nothing more on that. But yeah, just so you know, I have contacted them, gave them all the information.
I want to believe there's an innocent explanation, that the photos were just of people he knew, family maybe, and that nothing truly dark was happening out there. But it's difficult to land on that conclusion when everything points in the opposite direction. Maybe the authorities searched the place and found nothing. Maybe they found something and simply never said a word about it. Either way, we still don't know. Cumberland Outdoorsman is a lifelong hunter. He grew up in the Tennessee wilderness and has spent decades learning its sounds. Every animal call, every shift in the wind, every noise these woods make after dark. But on the last Saturday of hunting season, something out there stopped him cold. It was a calm afternoon. He'd settled in for some squirrel hunting, the forest quiet and familiar around him. Then, without warning, something broke that silence.
Well, folks, I just spotted another squirrel up there. But I'm hearing some really weird howling noises right up over here. I think it's a coyote. You're out here in the woods and everything gets quiet. You hear all kinds of weird noises. I'll tell you what. It sounds like it moved. There, you hear it. Don't know what in the world that is. It sounds weird. I don't know what. I thought it was a coyote, but I'm not real sure. You can hear it. I think you can hear it. I hope the camera's picking that up. I'm not sure. I'm about ready to get out of here anyway. That sounds weird. Well, if you've ever heard a sound like that in the woods before, I'm glad I got a loaded rifle with me. Well, folks, whatever that is, it was howling a while ago. It started up again. I don't know what it is. It sounds like there's some coyotes, but there's something else. Folks, whatever that is, it was howling a while ago. It started up again. I don't know what it is. It sounds like there's some coyotes, but there's something else.
He made the decision to leave, not panic, just a quiet, measured choice to walk away from something he couldn't explain. The odds of actually spotting whatever was making that sound were low, and staying didn't feel smart. He packed up his gear and started the mile-long hike back to his truck. These were woods he knew well, trails he'd walked for years, but nothing in all that time had prepared him for what he'd just heard. The audio he captured that evening is difficult to dismiss. The howls don't match anything common to that region. Not coyotes, not any animal a man with his experience would fail to recognize. Viewers who listened to the recording offered explanations, but none of them held up. Nobody could say with certainty what was out there. Whatever made those sounds that Saturday evening has never been identified. And somewhere deep in those Tennessee woods, miles of river bottom, thick cover, and darkness, it may still be out there. On October 7th, 2025, a man named Keith Curbs posted a video he claims to have filmed inside Yellowstone National Park. It spread quickly, and it's not hard to see why. Shooting from a distance with heavy zoom, he captured a man alone in an open field, slowly walking away from a pack of 5 wolves. The tension in that footage is immediate, and it only builds from there.
Maybe we should, yeah, here they come. Maybe we should start packing up. We're okay right here. Hell, we're still. Yeah, go ahead and start running, dude. Look at that one coming down the trail there. Ooh, this could end very badly for that guy.
Yeah, you think?
No, he's walking right back. Look at it.
Wow.
At this point in the footage, the man appears to move toward the wolves. That's the moment people started calling him reckless, accusing him of trying to prove something. But the honest answer is, we don't actually know that. Keith didn't provide enough context to understand how this man ended up in that position, and no further details have come out since. There are really only 2 possibilities. Either he deliberately walked toward the pack, which would be an extraordinarily bad decision, or he was hiking a trail and simply came across them without warning. What we do see clearly is the man turning to face the wolves and deploying bear spray in an attempt to push them back. It doesn't appear to work very well. The situation escalates, and he's eventually forced to retreat into a small ravine.
Judge, when they have him in court.
This is insane.
I know it. Here comes the reinforcement.
He's spraying bear spray.
Did he?
Yeah. But he's gonna run out of that really quick.
Yeah, you will. Somebody over there had to have called law enforcement by now. I can't see the guy anymore.
I know, I can't either.
The video cuts out there. We don't get to see how it ends. What we do know is that the man walked away unharmed. But let's go back to the beginning and look at this more carefully, because the question of whether this was intentional or accidental actually matters. In the opening seconds, he's backing away, slowly. That detail is worth paying attention to. It suggests the wolves may have come toward him first, not the other way around. They were likely curious. Then something shifts. He picks up his pace, and almost immediately, one of the wolves breaks into a sprint toward him. That moment is the turning point. Predators respond to movement. When something turns and runs, it can trigger a chase instinct, almost automatically. An animal that holds its ground and faces the threat looks more dangerous. One that bolts can look like prey. So, when the man turned back toward the wolves and stood his ground, as risky as that was, it was arguably the better option available to him in that moment. Even as the people behind the camera were shouting at him to run, he didn't, and he came out of it without a scratch. The National Park Service later located him and issued a citation for approaching wildlife. What remains unclear is whether that citation was tied to something that happened before the camera started rolling, or whether it was based on that brief moment in the footage where he does appear to step toward the pack, because those are two very different things. There's a meaningful gap between someone who deliberately walks up to wild wolves and someone who stands their ground when the alternative is turning their back and running. That brings us to the end of tonight's video. If you made it this far, thank you. Genuinely. Drop a comment below and tell me which encounter got under your skin the most. I read every single one. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. It helps more than you know. And if you're new here and this is your first time watching, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. There's plenty more where this came from. Stay safe out there, and whatever you do tonight, trust your gut. I'll see you in the next one.